So how about that? So I guess my contention is that's where it starts. It starts with an attitude. It starts with a belief in what students know what they can do, and most importantly, that their potential is limitless. And I think that was a message from Don Tapscott. And starting with that belief is critically important, because how often do we say, so-and-so's working up to his or her potential? You know, when we give that young man, when we give that young woman the tools of technology, when we give them the support, when we turn them loose, in many cases when we get out of their way, their potential goes far beyond the ceiling. Their potential goes far beyond what we thought, what their parents thought, what even they thought it was. So let's talk about the leadership for technological change. Certainly, it's something that just can't be done now. There are just too many obstacles. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough time. I don't have the right people. No one likes change. I love that. Technology changes. Humans don't. Damn. Cultural. Our culture does not support this. What about knowledge, skills, disposition? Not everybody else is at all. What about my evaluation? Suppose I try this and it fails. There are a million reasons why we should not lead for technological transformation. There's one reason why we should, and that's our young men and young women who are truly the promise of a bright future. And we could go for each of these, and there's lots of ways around it. Funding, right? OPM, other people's money. So it's not how do I reallocate money in my budget, how do I get funding from outside sources to support this pilot project? Time constraints. Now what is technology except it opens up all kinds of time for us? I remember not terribly long ago having a conversation with the Wilmette School District Board of Education saying we need to reduce our school year by 2 days and have 2 more days for professional development. And the board said, oh man, there will be pitchforks and torches in the street, cutting out 2 days of instructional time for professional development. And I said, well, just think if those 2 days were the last 2 days of the year when we're watching movies and having field days. You know, maybe we could make some adjustments. And the board stood up and did it. So we were able to add a few more days for professional development to open up time. What about the personnel? What about the personnel? There's always those 1 or 2 that know how to get things done. There's always those 1 or 2 that people listen to. And my administrative team will tell you this, Gibson. The first book, the first chapter that we read together of the first book was from The Tipping Point. And it was a chapter about connectors. Because we had just put in a new strategic plan. The board had just hired a new president. The board was looking for some change. The strategic plan was bold. It called for some change. Who's going to move this? The connectors are going to move it. And that was our first conversation. Who are the connectors here? What about this whole idea of resistance to change? Nobody likes to change. What about these cultural bonds? It won't work here. It won't work in my backyard. In a few moments, I'll give you the 3 R's and the ABCDs. I think it will be very helpful in getting around those. But what I have found in cultural bonds is just kind of very quickly, is that if we try to change the beliefs of the culture, we are doomed to failure. If we try to change behaviors first, we will prevail. Changing behaviors comes before changing beliefs. And how often do we try to convince people that this is the right thing to do? We need to have this technology. We need to have these classes. Do you know, in the state of Illinois, there's high schools that don't let their students take Illinois virtual high school classes for credit. That won't work here. Right? yet there's others that get full credit for it. You can't change beliefs about it, but you can change behaviors. Let's try this with a few students. Let's see what happens. The knowledge, skills, and disposition. How about changing that? Two of my favorite phrases are one, that 95% of your technological problems could be found by looking in the mirror. This damn computer. That wireless connection, nothing's working. Arr. And, you know, what is it usually? Something where we messed up. And one of my other favorite phrases, as my staff will tell you, we look a lot more like our driver's license pictures than we care to admit. So knowledge, skills, and disposition, the change has to start with us. You can't delegate knowledge, you can't delegate skills, you can't delegate a disposition. You can't ask others to be risk takers, to be innovators, without doing it yourself. Which leads to evaluation, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's talk then about really how to not just overcome these challenges, but really how to lead. How to be the kind of leaders that will make a difference.